A rear tire detonates at over 290 kilometers per hour. The rider, Marc Marquez. The bike, a factory Ducati. The race, the very first round of the 2026 season. So here's the question that's burning through every garage, every engineering office, and every comment section right now. Was this a freak mechanical failure, or did something go fundamentally wrong before Marquez even left pit lane? I'm Ratan. Welcome to MotoGP News, your home for in-depth race analysis, paddock updates, and the stories the mainstream coverage won't dig into. Today, we're breaking down the Buriram tire blowout, Ducati's furious response, Michelin's official statement, and what this could mean for the rest of the championship. Let's get into it. The 2026 MotoGP World Championship roared back to life at the Chang International Circuit in Buriram, Thailand, and from the very first session, it was clear this season would offer no gentle introductions. Free practice was fiercely competitive. Qualifying delivered a genuine shock when Marco Bezzecchi scorched the timing screens to claim pole position with a new lap record aboard the Aprilia RSGP. Marc Marquez, returning to full fitness with the Ducati Lenovo squad after an injury-disrupted previous campaign, qualified a strong second. Raul Fernandez locked out the front row in third, rounding off a weekend of consistent, quietly impressive pace. The sprint race on Saturday had already ignited controversy. Pedro Acosta took the win, but only after a penalty was applied to Marquez, a decision Ducati publicly criticized as disproportionate. Tensions were simmering before Sunday's main event had even begun. When the lights dropped for the feature race, Bezzecchi converted his pole into a textbook launch. The Aprilia looked planted and precise, particularly through Buriram's long radius corners, where rear traction on exits separates the elite from the rest. Bezzecchi settled into a controlled, intelligent rhythm, fast enough to stretch a gap, measured enough to protect his tires for the closing stages. Behind him, the fight for the remaining podium places was relentless. Marquez, Acosta, and Fernandez traded positions lap after lap in a three-way battle defined by late-breaking lunges and aggressive exits. It was exactly the kind of racing MotoGP fans had been craving through the offseason, and the Buriram grandstands responded with deafening energy. By mid-race distance, the story shifted to tire management. Track temperatures were punishing, among the highest recorded at this venue in recent years. Rear grip began to fade across the field, and the riders who could adapt their style stood to gain the most. Bezzecchi played it smart, holding his lines and keeping his lap times remarkably stable. Marquez, meanwhile, found another gear. He picked off Fernandez, climbed into the podium battle, and made his intentions unmistakable. He was here to challenge for the win, not settle for points. Then, with the race entering its decisive final phase, it happened. Marquez's rear Michelin suffered a catastrophic failure at peak speed. No warning, no gradual degradation, the tire simply came apart. In an instant, the Desmos Dedesi lost all rear traction and snapped sideways off the racing line. Tire debris scattered across the circuit. What followed was a display of pure survival instinct. Marquez, drawing on 2 decades of elite-level racing reflexes, somehow kept the machine upright and brought it to a controlled stop. No high side, no hospital visit. But also no finish, no points, and no podium in the most important race of the opening weekend. Race direction immediately deployed caution warnings. Marshals moved to clear debris from the track surface while the remaining riders navigated around the incident zone. Fortunately, no secondary contact occurred and the race was allowed to continue to its conclusion. At the front, Bezzecchi was unshakable. While chaos erupted behind him, the Italian kept his head down, maintained his gap, and crossed the line to take a commanding victory. It was a performance that announced not just his own credentials, but Aprilia's evolution as a genuine title-contending package. After narrowly missing out on maximum points in the sprint, this win carried extra significance. Aprilia has spent years building toward this level of competitiveness, and Bezzecchi's composed ride in Buriram delivered their clearest statement yet. They belong at the sharp end, and the factories around them should take notice. Inside the Ducati Lenovo garage, the mood was anything but celebratory. Team manager Davide Tardozzi made no effort to hide his frustration, describing the team as deeply shaken and clearly disadvantaged by an incident he believes should never have been possible at the highest level of motorcycle racing. Ducati formally lodged a protest and demanded a direct, transparent dialogue with Michelin. They want access to every piece of technical data, tire construction reports, batch quality records, and telemetry correlations to understand precisely what failed and why. For Ducati, this is non-negotiable. A tire failure at those speeds doesn't just cost a race result, it puts a rider's life on the line. Michelin responded several hours after the race with an official statement. In it, the French manufacturer confirmed that the failed tire had been retrieved and transported to their analysis facility. Full telemetry data from Marquez's Ducati was also collected. Michelin stated, and I quote, "Rider safety is our absolute priority." At this stage, there are no preliminary indications of a manufacturing defect. However, the investigation remains active and ongoing. They also acknowledge that Buriram's track surface temperatures were exceptional and that race intensity loading on the rear compound may have contributed to accelerated degradation. Michelin committed to examining every variable, initial cold pressure, peak operating temperature, total load cycles, and pledged to disclose findings transparently if any anomaly is confirmed. Here's where it gets complicated. On the surface, this could be an isolated technical failure. Extreme conditions pushing a tire beyond its operational window. It happens. Rubber has limits. But the questions don't stop there. Did Ducati's setup choices, tire pressure, suspension calibration, riding mode contribute to overloading that rear Michelin? Was Marquez's aggressive riding style in the closing laps a factor? Or does this point to a deeper issue with how tires are allocated, managed, and monitored across the grid? These are the questions the investigation must answer, because the implications go beyond one DNF in Thailand. If there's a systemic vulnerability, every rider on that grid is exposed to the same risk next time temperatures spike and race intensity reaches boiling point. So now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Marquez's tire failure was purely a material issue, something Michelin needs to own and fix? Or do you think team strategy, setup decisions, or riding approach played a role in pushing that tire past its breaking point? Drop your analysis in the comments below. If you're new here, subscribe to MotoGP News and hit that notification bell so you never miss a breakdown. I'm Ratan, and I'll see you at the next round. Ride safe.